Bro, it's gorgeous. It's just
This is
so gorgeous.
gorgeous morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. I love being in the Taco Hut on Taco Tuesdays. I think this is one of the best overall like streaming experiences. Like even just seeing you get set up, um, very professional, very beautiful. Uh, it's an honor, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's going to be, we got to do that. It's always like an art form, and just sort of having it going is sort of, especially if I'm doing it on the road, it's completely different. So thank you. And
I checked into
yeah.
one that was on the road, and it sounded like you were in a bit of the sticks, right? It sounded like when you hit the road, you leave civilization, which is something that I respect. It's something that you see in others. I don't know how many of these instances you allow into your life, but you should
Yeah.
because they're chocolatey. But like when you see others do something that you respect and you know that you'll never be that person, like I can't leave. Truly, like I can't get that far. I need a shower, like very I would say daily, just to wash off my
Quite
sins.
two
So
times a
I
day.
I can I can never venture. But every time I see someone do it, I'm like, oh, you're the coolest person.
Oh, am I gonna blow those? Yeah. Okay. So yes, I was like in the middle of nowheres. It was a short little piece. I made sure I got my showers in. You know, I am the same kind of person where, yeah, wash sins away, wash the dirt, like took the
I need
train.
it.
Yeah, took the train back and like walked 15 minutes, and it's just so humid in New York that I was like, oh yeah, nope. I just took a shower 4 hours ago after I got out of the ocean. I need to get into the shower again.
Mhm.
You know?
Absolutely, yeah. I can't be too far.
Yeah.
I went to a music festival. It was like, bro, after 2 years of Web3, it was like, all right, I am getting out there.
Yeah.
So I went to a music festival, Bonnaroo, which was fucking insane. And we stayed probably like 45 minutes outside of the festival and just went to like the daily shows. And I mean, daily meaning until 3 a.m. But we were leaving and coming back. A bunch of people stay and they camp at the festivals, and
Yeah.
it was crazy being there at like 2 in the morning and just like stepping in everybody's piss and the lines. It's a music festival. It's wild, and then like knowing that a few years ago I was also like showering like right here, like right in this fucking piss. Sorry for swearing, but yeah, man, eye
Oh man.
opening.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. We do a lot of crazy things. This week was, just lucky, and
Mhm.
I'm that same way. I gotta be connected. I gotta like so like when we stayed at a campsite the first night and realized, oh, we don't have cell phone service here. I like got the tent set up and then had to go hop back and go drive back in, 15, 20-ish minutes. I think normally would have taken like a 10-minute drive, but it took closer to a 20-minute drive just because it was so like foggy, like the
Mhm.
mist had just come down. Um, and so it was uh a blast. Um, so and literally uh got to go to sleep to the sound of a river, you know. So not a bad weekend, I think, and then
Now that's
floating
just
down
pumped
some
in.
river. Yeah.
Now river sounds are just pumped in via streaming protocol.
Oh, yeah.
And
This is gonna. Yeah. No.
it's gonna
It's gonna
make
be.
for a great world. I'm not afraid.
Yeah. Oh man. And what's really crazy is as much as we get deeper and deeper into technology, it seems we get a little bit more connected with both people and with the world. It seems,
Hmm.
Um,
I think so.
so I remember during COVID when COVID first happened, um, I worked. I worked in social services, and so it was hard for a lot of my clients and stuff like that. They couldn't leave and stuff like that, and so it was literally my job to find them adventures. And so, um, I almost every single Disney ride, someone has turned into a YouTube video from like a POV standpoint, so you can go ride like every single Disney ride. People have put cameras on their heads and made sure they've stayed out of the camera shot and like gone and hiked trails, and like it's just crazy.
100%. I've visited castles for sure. That was like one of the first things I did with the Oculus, which I got to tell you, like anybody who's interested in obviously the advancement of where we're headed, uh, has at least considered like okay, VR, like when mass VR. And I really do think it comes down to like the comfortability of it.
Mhm.
Like the Oculus, I mean, I'm bald and I have a pretty thick skull. So like I'm built for
Heavy duty
yeah,
headwear.
strapping something on. And I honestly, I just after an hour, I'm just like, man, I'm like sweating in this thing. It's I think that's the bridge. The bridge is like how compact and comfortable can you actually get it on your head to experience it. Um, and you got to think that it's going to get smaller, right? You got to think that it's going to get lighter and more nimble. And I
It,
think that, yeah, if there's one thing that prevents me from putting it on more, it's like, yeah, I don't want to like stay in it when I'm kind of in it, just like structurally. So as
yeah,
soon as it gets like, thinner, like everything has like Bluetooth speakers and TVs and, thinner, smaller, um, I think it'll be, more widely adopted.
it's gonna be fun. And I say this, Google Glasses was 5-6 years ahead of its time. You know, if it came out now, that whitelist would be a mile long.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I hope I get one of the the rare traits on that Google Glasses whitelist. The pink, yeah, the pink mohawk.
oh man, it's but like there you like it's gonna be there's gonna be some really cool stuff coming out. Um, and we've seen like Meta has sort of owned the you know the game so far. Positioning themselves. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be the best choice, but most widely adopted because they're giving out. Um, when I was at Web3 Expo last year in Vegas, there was a vet project that was giving like IRL support to vets that were in distress, retired vets that were in distress, suicide ideation, and they were like in home therapy type of stuff via
Hmm.
VR and stuff like that, and they had this stuff down pat. They got like a $4 million grant from Meta to just give away Oculuses, you
Hmm.
know, so that they could, they're like, um, someone, the way it was told to me was that like, they're like, if you can help a handful of people, this is going to be worth it. And
Hmm.
so they just sort of like really, really like took the game and ran with it. And I'm really
That's good.
surprised.
Yeah. No, those are like, I guess the most proper stories to come out of the advancement of, all of this, right? Like it, we, it's scary to think like the Silicon Valley kind of money train went so thick of gold that everything about like what comes out of, Meta or the advancement of any of this is like, oh, it's carnivores. It's like capitalistic carnivores. And in reality, you know, it's not all that, let's say.
Yeah,
There's like, there's definitely like good. So it's good to hear like a proper story of, these going out and helping people.
yeah, and that's just probably one of like a lot of different projects doing stuff like that. There's ones doing bringing them to hospices and stuff like that, so people
Hmm.
can either go visit with family, go visit experiences, bucket lists, and stuff like that. It is just sort of really cool.
Yeah. Um, oh, but I honestly, the first time I talked with you, I was like, I could talk with you for 2 hours, dude. And it's just kind of like that flow state of energy where it's like
Yeah,
it doesn't take, you know, doesn't take from your energy, um, or kind of. There's people I talk to for 10 minutes and it feels like 2 hours.
yeah,
People that are great people that I like, but like it's just the energy is kind of effed. It's not the case on Taco Tuesdays, dude. The Taco Hut.
yeah, and yeah.
Um,
And
but I
speaking of taking, I don't want to take too much of your time because you have, I don't know if I can say this, but you have a meeting in 15 minutes,
I do, yeah.
but we just met last Tuesday and it seems like a million things have happened since then.
It's been moving. Things have been in motion. One of one art on Solana is uh, in a state of constant evolution, and I've been in Solana for 2 years and have kind of dabbled in the Degen and the art and at the end of the day, Web3 is just crazy. Web3 moves. It's why, taking off one day and going to the river, it's like, holy shit. Um, because you do feel disconnected in such a short amount of time because of how quickly things move. So even since last Tuesday, the amount of progress that we've made and seen in Solana and in one of one art is it's beautiful. I think it's just going to keep on going that way.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, if you're that's the beauty of a very strong builder community within Solana is that if you're not moving, you're dying. And
yeah,
so, we've seen a new marketplace aggregator come out on Solana Malo. Um, and it's interesting to see, are they going to be kind of a hub that just aggregates auctions on various platforms? Interested to see how all of that shakes out. Fortunately, we're so busy with a lot of the uh, fun things we have on the horizon that I get to just like enjoy it, right? Like, um, seeing all the art on the timeline yesterday and playing with the new marketplace and knowing that we're building with Foster. I'm meeting daily with Reland, and really kind of pushing the metaverse envelope. Every week does feel like a month, man. So even since last Tuesday when we spoke, like the amount of kind of different lanes of that have been developed is it's hard to pack into to a minute to an hour, because yeah,
yeah.
we're constantly going.
And so, you know, you talked with you're in three land. I love it how everyone sort of either says third land, 3D land. Bangers is doing amazing stuff there, and I've spent some time on this space, just like putting around, trying to slowly build a room with my horrible spatial awareness. But what was really cool, the very first thing I dropped in there was one of my toonies,
Hmm.
trips,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I have a 3D model that I don't even have to build. And I'm like, oh, that was hidden in there.
Mhm.
That file was already built into that, you know?
It's
Um,
beautiful. It's
yeah,
why I think that the people that have seen Solana and
yeah.
stayed till the bitter, I mean, Christmas
Dropping from
Day.
250 to $9 is,
It's
it's a
just
big drop. But
as someone who went to Breakpoint last year, Friday. It's like, we're down. This ain't Breakpoint 2021, but positive things like we're making it back. Totally met with Google,
yeah,
and it's like, there's a bunch of kind of like
T-Mobile
exciting
signed
things
on.
on Friday, right? So
Yeah.
everybody's like, holy shit, Solana goes to 38. It's like, all right, maybe, we're on our way back to 50. And this is just like prices sentiment, let's be honest,
Yeah.
for, the people that are here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what is this FTX? And then it's like, what? So then it's like Saturday, Sunday. It's like, wait, what? Mass? He's going to jail. Everything is done. And then I'm getting on flights home, and it's like, from Lisbon to the UK, and I get in at the UK. I'm looking at my phone, and it's like a red dart just going,
Oh man,
oh God.
it was bad. Um,
But
at one,
I guess the point is like the people that have stayed because of what's happening now, because they saw what is possible and only possible on Solana.
yeah,
Um, and experimenting with Freeland, building Foster, and knowing all of the cool things that we can do for composability, for creator monetization tooling. Like we've stayed on Solana for a reason, and yeah, I think I think we're kind of at a stronger concrete floor than we've ever been.
yeah,
The people that are here ain't going anywhere.
yeah. No, I agree with you. So for those that are listening in, you want to talk about the composability of the monolithic. I it's a monolithic chain, you know, um, proof of history, proof of stake, um, and I've talked about the sequencing of events to where everyone is sort of all of the transactions are layered and then come together, and that heartbeat
Hmm.
of that proof of history sort of aligns all transactions and keeps everything secure. Do you want to talk about the composability real quick?
Um, I'll talk about it from kind of a product consumer end with what we're doing with NFTs. I can't imagine, especially because I only have a few minutes, but I can't imagine trying to uh, to speak to like the intricacies and the beauty of the chain. Composability from a product and kind of NFT consumer digital ownership standpoint. Um, is really in fact like why a lot of people have showed up for not only the investment but the um, bullish on the use case of the chains and what NFTs can do. So Foster Marketplace runs on the Solana blockchain. Anytime that you create a collection or mint an NFT, you are doing so on chain. And the beauty is your wallet can move to other Solana products in the ecosystem. So if you come onto Foster and you create an NFT of a painting, you can bring that into another platform. It could be a metaverse gallery, in this case, Threeland, and put that in your gallery. If you buy an NFT on Foster Marketplace, you can, go into Threeland and place it in your gallery. So as long as you have ownership of the asset and the metadata that it is associated with, you can effectively like use your digital ownership in ways that I think they're intended to, right? Like um, if you go to Facebook, you don't get to, load in all of your images from Instagram, in a way that like you actually own it, right? Like that's just a platform calling an API. But with Solana and digital ownership, it's like your wallet is what you own,
Yeah.
and the assets in your wallet is what you own, and your ability to use them in multiple platforms for whatever the product allows for, I think is what's key, right? Like, if you wanted to, 2 years down the line, bring some of your assets onto a stock platform that like licenses it in this type of way, you could.
Yeah.
So the composability and the way that it'll evolve over time, I think, is like why a lot of people in the 2021 bull run started investing, right? Like the amount of money that poured into, um, you know, engine, with the idea that, oh, assets, skins in multiple games,
Yeah.
like reached the billions, uh, and here we are on Solana, like actually able to start seeing the early, movements of that.
That's there's just cool stuff there. Um, because it brings it to another level. People talk about ownership all the time, owning assets and everything in between, but we rarely get to see how we get to use those assets.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're running low on time. And so I know there was a piece where you wanted me to pull up 8 JPEGs, but I knew we'd probably run out of time after I got your message this morning. So I wanted to do at least one and stuff like that and walk someone
Yeah.
through. And so I'm just gonna set the groundwork real quick. I think I even, I was just so excited to speak with you. Half my show just left my head because hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode 334. We're talking with Plumpa from Foster Protocol, marketplace for digital creators and collectors. I cheated, and I actually visited the site last night and just made a profile. I was going to do it all live today, but I knew we were going to run out of time. And so I wanted to just sort of get some of the balls out of the way that I might have to do. And so you wanted us to do something today. You didn't say what. You said just have some JPEGs ready. And
Yeah.
so I'm only going to use one. I'm going to use my PFP JPEG because I've abused that JPEG and I have put it on so many different blockchains. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
Heck,
let's do it.
my face is even an NFT,
Yeah. I got a Jet in 3.
Yeah.
And I think if you wanted to go through and mint your
Yeah.
first NFT on Foster, you could
Yeah.
go to to create single, and honestly, this is killing me that I have to jump, because you have no idea how much I live for this experience, specifically this experience that's happening now.
Yeah.
Because as a designer, I just like looking and at your mouse and the way that you're interacting with the platform. It's it's everything about everything for me. Um, because we're constantly iterating and trying to make this, a good user experience. So I appreciate watching this. Um, as you're kind of moving through and minting your artwork, I just will say, like, you know, the ability to crop an image, the ability to select and deselect categories, the ability to kind of preview, your artwork as you're moving through these like 3 steps. This is in its like 50th form, and it'll probably reach like its most like final form after like 150, right? Like we constantly just want to make this as easy as possible, because at Foster, like, we truly want to grow the pie, and we want to make it possible for your cousin who doesn't really care about NFTs or blockchain but is an artist. Like, we want them to come onto the platform, and we want them to be on chain. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting for you to do this live. Hopefully
Yeah.
everything feels smooth.
So far, my only question is, what is Foster House? Because it is not yet enabled.
We'll get to that at another time. Yeah, but
All right.
yeah,
And
maybe that's one of our Easter eggs.
collab, I'm assuming you'll be able to like have multiple wallets benefiting from a price,
Yeah, it's one of our like hot checklist items. We think it's beneficial when artists collab and kind of work together to create an asset. We just again want to make sure we get it right. You know what I mean? Like we want it to be foolproof. Anything we design, we want it to feel like the right steps. Before we bring it into play. But here we go. We're watching it,
Yeah.
and it feels good to watch.
I've seen.
I have to hop in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, and so we're gonna do this. One of the things that's been funny is I've seen when I was playing with things, you have a turkey running around as your weight screen.
Yeah.
Why a wild turkey?
We're
gonna go on this.
Yeah, the Turkey Circus is the Circus Dow. It's 3D art. It's the best slept, best kept secret on Solana. So come check it out. I really have to hop on this call.
All right.
Come on.
Let's go.
Did you sign Phantom?
I signed.
Oh
I
no.
approved.
Bro, I'm like walking into a call with Solana with like my tail in between my legs. All right, I have to hop onto this.
Let's see. You're gonna run.
Yeah.
One last thing you want,
dude. This is like an epic like bong 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 loser. I do have to hop on this call though. I gotta go. I'm so sorry.
You gotta go. Plumpa, thank you so much. We're gonna finish walking through this. We're gonna have fun. If we have to reset this and do it, who knows?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Obviously. All right, but peace.
Peace, Plumpa. Thank you for joining us. For those that don't know Plumpa, please give him a follow on Twitter. He is there. He is our co-speaker today. For those that are joining us via YouTube, Twitch, Telegram, LinkedIn, I want to thank you for joining us today. For those joining us via Twitter, a lot of cool stuff is happening in the Solana ecosystem. We sort of saw a lot of one art sort of pick up about, I want to say about 3 months ago is when it started to take center stage. It was sort of one of those sleepers that was happening. And so we feel that we might have done something wrong here. So we're going to fix this. We're going to prove this, and we're going to redo this real quick. And we're going to reset and give it a whole new thing just to make sure that it was us that was messing this up. And we're gonna see how quickly you can create something and publish something on Foster Marketplace. Because what's really cool is because there was a blockchain transaction, it's happened and it's probably going on in the background. We just can't see it because we're not there. But we're gonna do this one more time just to go see through here how quickly we can see this goes. And we are gonna make this happen. And we're gonna just mint. So we're gonna mint this. After wallet approval, your transaction will be finished about 3 seconds. We're hitting approve. Wild turkeys can see 3 times sharper than a hunter with 20/20 vision and nearly 8 times farther. All right. We approved. Boom. And that was it. So we actually get to tweet our mint. So there is that. So that is how quickly it can be done. I really hate the fact that he had to leave before he got to see it actually, how quickly it worked, because it was a smooth transaction. I think I had missed a sign in at some place, so it was waiting for something on my end. But yeah, no, that just really pushed out how quickly we can do this. So as always, we're sort of talking, we get to talk with different marketplaces, different places. I see Meta Rides joining us today. I see Happy and I see Jan. So welcome. If you guys have any questions about Foster, I can give what I can. Or this is your daily bite of Degen. Let's keep this conversation going for a little bit. We were going to be having a longer conversation with Plumpa, and we're going to work on having that happen again. But it's really interesting, like he was saying, how quickly things can change in a week. Tuesday was supposed to be a completely free day for him, and he'd already had like 4 meetings by today. So just sort of good to see the grind is always happening. And when the Solana Foundation calls, you answer. And so this is one of those things that makes me happy. We get to see new things. And so really good. We'll go into deeper pieces on this later on. And so, yeah, I like seeing this. What's really fun is there's some of the cool stuff going on in Solana. I think one of my funnest ones is Underdog protocol. So I think that's Underdog Dust. We'll find where that is later on and talk more about that. But that's one of the fun pieces where with the whole compression side of NFTs, able to send out 10,000 NFTs for the cost of 1 SOL. And we've had a pump in SOL. Right now it's around $26, I think. In the last 5 days, since Thursday, since XRP's, I don't know if I want to call it a landmark victory, but I will call it an ecosystem victory. Because we saw sort of with Judge Torres's ruling that open marketplace selling is not a security when the buyer doesn't know who the seller is and the seller doesn't know who the buyer is. And, where there was the institutional sales was where there was violations on how those were handled by not registering. And because they didn't register those, that didn't necessarily met security requirements. The thing that sucks is that even if XRP had applied for a securities trade, the idea of them actually achieving that and the SEC granting that is sort of hilarious that it wouldn't have happened. And so I look at it as a win for the ecosystem. I think it also gives a clearer tone to the SEC that you have to, if you're going to make rules that people have to play by, you're going to have to let people play when they attempt to play by the rules. And so I think that will bring some changes. It wasn't a complete total victory for XRP because there was 3 major points of view being discussed. Both the institutional sales, the open sales, aiding and abetting from 2 of the founders. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting their names off the top of my head? As well as personal sales from them. Luckily, personal sales, the aiding and abetting stuff was all, considered not a security, so they were not charged on that stuff. Where the dominoes did fall into place of violations was along the lines of the institutional sales. This brought into my head, well, what happens if a project decides to go big or go home on a marketplace and put a minimum orders out at certain prices, and so then you don't know who the buyer is, and so that would be like lot size sales at minimum ticket prices. I'm sure that is not the solution, but I always sort of try to find the solution in the weeds. And, that would be a way that a protocol could still garner large amounts of raises quickly, and, sort of get rid of the buddy system, I guess you could say, in a way. And the buddy system is not all bad. It's unfair at times, but you also have to realize that a lot of these projects need those connections, need these large VCs to come in with not only what they have financially, but the connections they have to get projects and protocols in the door in different ways. So really interesting, take on it. Really want to see how the rest of it lays out. What's really interesting with the SEC case is the SEC has to wait for all the chips to finish landing before they can appeal, because if they want to appeal, they have to appeal everything. They can't just appeal one thing now, because if they do, then they can't appeal anything else. And so the SEC is waiting for the rest of the chips to land before they move forward. But the appeal process is going to be another 3 years, of this is now what has been laid out. So for it to go to the next step to like the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, it's going to be 3 years before anything changes. So it really finalizes marketplace, buys. And this is one of those things where I want to remind people, it comes to verbiage. We are not investors. If you do not have a Series 7, Series 6, or every other financial tool that to be a registered investor, it's like me calling myself an airplane pilot because I've flown a balsa wood airplane, and so that we know that that's not a case. It's like me calling myself a Google specialist, Google employee, because I've used Gmail. And so it's not to downgrade any person using an ecosystem, but it comes to verbiage. And what can happen is that verbiage, if it's not turned down by the protocol, by the project, and you're not corrected, it could actually stand in court that's saying like, hey, you called yourself an investor in a community, and the community, the project didn't correct someone. Someone could then say like, oh, you say that someone said you're a security, that they're an investor in you, and you're not registered. So, and you didn't tell them otherwise. So you now have to play by these rules, and you're not going to be like that. I think that if there was a clear line for projects to list as securities, that was quick and easy, as easy as Foster's Marketplace, minting an NFT, I think that, people would line up by the hundreds to become a security. But because it is a pay to play and buddy system, it really makes it unfair. And that's why I think a lot of people move into blockchain, is for that fair side of things. We're gonna send out some quick invites real quick. Let's see here. Meta Rides if that is Big H, if that is you, come on up. Meta Rides has been doing some amazing stuff with unstoppable domains lately. I have an idea of a big X, white car with a big black X design that I want to do. Come talk about meta rides, and let's see what's going on there. Let me reset the room real quick. Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. Episode 334. We've been talking with Plumpa from Foster Marketplace, where it allows us to make basically turn anything into an NFT we want, whether it's music, video files, and everything in between. And so we wanted to talk more about what's coming up. I think I might just drop some alpha that I know. Man, just get ready for a circus. That's all I can say. That's all I want to. That's all I think I can say right now. Getting ready for a circus because something's coming. And are you ready for the circus? Simple, I see that you joined us on Twitter. GM. How are you?
GM. I want to hear about the circus. I saw that you posted that there was like an open mint, and I was like, oh, it's got a space go. So I would love to hear about that. Just happy to be here and tapping into the daily Taco Bites, and yeah, man, I'm just grabbing it here.
Yeah, no. So got to hang out. So I met Foster Marketplace last Tuesday during a Solana ecosystem call hosted by Super Team. And so a lot of the ecosystem projects that are building out for the one-of-one artists. And then like I went on a diatribe for a second about something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But Plumpa was like, I like you. And I was like, I like you. Let's hop on a call. And he's like, give me 5 minutes. And then we talked for like 45 minutes. And he's like, next Tuesday, let's do this. And, we were going to walk through and we were going to launch a little bit of a collection. And I think I'm going to do that just for the heck of it. But there is a circus coming up, a 3D circus. And so really sort of working on that timeline piece of what we have going on there. So there's some cool stuff that's building out within the Solana ecosystem that it's really moving. What's the word I want to say? Really moving forward an individual platform so that artists get seen and artists, can create, because it's really easy for people to create, but it's really hard to walk people through that process. And we've talked about this so much of having to either make it, there's two ways of looking at it. Making it so simple that anyone can do it, and also making it so technical that no one cares how it works, only that it does. So, yeah. But, yeah,
Awesome.
I know we've talked a little bit, and I don't think I've ever painted you into a corner. Do you own any soul?
So actually, one of my my office mates, he was really gung ho on Soul. He just loves like the ecosystem and everything there. So I actually bought a bit, probably like I would say probably under a year ago. But I haven't really known too much about the ecosystem. He's more of like a gaming guy and designer.
Yeah.
And so he really loves what Solana's got going on and Soul and whatnot. But me personally, I don't really know too much about the ecosystem. I know that you're involved in it, and it's crazy, man, because there's so many different educators and people on on the World Wide Web and YouTube and Twitter and everything. Because sometimes it's hard for me to like really entrust in people as far as the information they're giving. But that's why I'm like here, because I know that you're really about it. And yeah, so I'd love to hear more about it. And is that's where everything's kind of happening right now? Is on Solana?
That is, well, everything is happening everywhere. So to say that one like major things are only happening in one place, that's not true. We like.
I guess I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring in such a broad. Broad. I guess I just meant your NFT that you're launching.
Oh yeah, and my NFT that I'm launching is literally just a copy of my PFP, and so because I put that on to go test out different, because on different blockchains and different ecosystems, they'll only recognize NFTs that you have on that blockchain, So I go and mint my NFT, my PFP as an NFT on that chain, like my PFP that I have now in my Hex on Twitter, the same PFP I have on Twitch, YouTube channels, everywhere. I actually got that on Gnosis chain when Gnosis chain launched. And so a while ago, but Twitter only wants to recognize ETH PFPs. And so I went and minted it, on ETH, and, it's and I've minted it on pretty much every blockchain that I can.
Real quick, I just want to, and I think that's amazing, because it's just like, you're playing around and you're getting that out there. I guess, would you recommend that? Like, just kind of like for someone that's looking to release something, just kind of put it everywhere on every different blockchain?
I would, for the simple fact that, especially if it's a brand image, and it's a PFP that you want to interact with on different chains, just like naming services, like every chain that pops up, whether I'm going to use it or not, I go and get Player One Taco as quickly as I can, just so someone else doesn't go and do that. So someone doesn't try to either sell it to me for some outrageous price or try to represent themselves as me.
That makes total sense. That's awesome. That's kind of like it's definitely I needed to hear that. That's great stuff.
Because sometimes you might be slow to, like, you see in my name, player1taco.eth, .sol, .lens, .elron, .near. I was slow on the .sats. Someone went and got player1taco.sats.
They did.
And that's one of those things where someone specifically went to do that.
Man, it's a lot of interesting characters, definitely from the Twitter world and definitely internet world. So it's gotta protect yourself. And I guess I'm just really inspired because I definitely have a project that I've been holding on to for a bit, and it's NFT. It's going to be just one piece of part of a collection. I'm just I was pumped when I saw that you were releasing your PFP, and just testing some stuff out, just like a free mint and whatnot. So I'll definitely tap in and get that mint. But I guess just the answer for me was just put it everywhere.
Yeah, especially I'm chain agnostic. You'll see me in a heck ton of Polkadot and Solana and EVM stuff, because it's really easy to walk people and onboard people into it. And so I was gonna, you're on your phone right now. Do you have your Phantom wallet on your phone?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So this is what we're going to do. All right. We're going to create a collection real quick. and we are boop boop. We're gonna give you an NFT. We're gonna mint some NFTs, and we are going to, let's see here. We're gonna make this PFP a glitch, even though this isn't, and we're gonna make it dark art. We're just gonna categorize the heck out of it so we can. No, we don't want glitch. Generative. Oh no, drawing and animation. Next step. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Oh, wait. Let's cancel this. Hold on one second. Let's see. All right. Create collection. Perfect. Next step. All right. This is going to be fun. And I don't know. I think, it's crazy how many people are like just limit themselves to NFTs, because I know we both do a heck ton of NFTs in the Zen ecosystem. And, so, all right, artwork preview. Let's see here. We are going to do, yeah. We're going to do this. Let's see here. Let's see.
It's cool. I'm seeing that you're streaming too. So
yeah,
to get that. That's wild. You can see it on Twitter. Cool. So I'm like seeing what you're doing.
This is one of those things where we get to have so many, so I'm broadcasting this to 2 YouTube channels, Twitter, LinkedIn. Shout out to all of those people that are watching on those platforms, Twitch, a Telegram channel, and Xenon. So on chain on Lens protocol, we're talking about Solana on Lens, which Palumpa actually has on his whiteboard to get work on video compression next, for pushing video through on chain. So
that's awesome. It's pretty great that you're streaming in all those different places. I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around like how to do that, but that might be for another conversation.
Yeah. Let's see. All right.
So does this guy have a name?
This guy? So I got him a long time ago. Sometimes I want to call him just Good Luck Chuck. But I won him on a trading competition before KuCoin had their own chain, before they had their KCC chain. And so they were doing the stuff on Gnosis, and all of his traits are based off of how my trades went for a month. And it was only given to the first 10,000 people that, scored the highest in this trading competition. And then the traits were based on your trades and how you did and everything like that. So, and where you ranked in the competition was how you, it turned out, so it was sort of cool. There was a lot of variables in place. One of the only things that I've been able to find out on the traits, what the traits meant, were the eyes. That one eye represented how you ended up. So I ended up in the green. And then with the blue eye was the fact that I traded, I was sideways in a lot of my trades. So not huge gains, not huge losses. And I was doing so many micro trades and stuff like that. So this was a while. And then I just really don't understand how, where the wrapped up head. So I didn't get totally wrecked. I ended up in the green. I ended up good, and you got to remember, this was 4 years ago. So there wasn't a lot to pick from, and it was hard. Yeah, and the good luck. So I guess a little bit of love was given. You know, I guess I picked some random winners, and yeah.
That's super awesome. I love that that happened.
Yeah.
That I'm hearing the story about it, because I was always wondering. I'm like, what's the background? Because it's like there's definitely something going on with that PFP, and I'm like, yeah. I had to be more of a story behind it. Love it.
Yeah. So let's see here. So one, it's really simple of uploading, creating your name. Let's see. All right. Mint collection. All right. Let's see how, let's file uploaded. Mint collection. All right. See, this was one of the things I didn't see if, all right. Receive unknown. All right. On the collections page. So now we have a collections page. Oh man, let's see what we got going on. All right. So there's some cool stuff there, I think. We're going to have some fun with this. This is going to be fun. So I do like how easy of a lineup that they have here. So they have some fun with this. There's a lot of cool stuff here. It's sort of fun. Let's share this on Twitter, and see what this is fun. I love the integration stuff that people make, especially with pre-filled tweets and stuff. Just makes it a lot easier for side views of how easy it is to make something, and it's sort of interesting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go look at this from a different screen so we can sort of see what a user might see. Let's see here. I don't know. One of the things that we wanted to really go through was let's see here. Showcase how easy it is on mobile. So since you're on mobile, what does that look like from your side of things?
I'm taking a peek right now at where you're at. Let me pull that up. So it's just what's the link?
It is it was just posted on my profile piece, so I will tag you in it. Boom. And we are going to start an auction on it. There we go.
Yeah, it says I just pulled it up. It's pretty cool. It says yeah, you met player one taco.soul.
There we go. And what's really cool, what I really like about a lot of the auction spaces is
I'd have to connect to another wallet.
Yeah, you might have to open that up in your Phantom wallet if at a different time. as if you wanted to make a bid. Not saying you have to make a bid, but if you wanted to make a bid, Phantom is pretty cool like that. And I hope you're using Brave browser, sir. Not any Safari or Chrome stuff. Let's be safe. But no, I do like how, there's over 2,144 pieces listed. So I think that this is going to be, I really like what Foster built here. And so really giving a space to some really cool things here. But this is going to be a fun day. So as we move on, as we always do, we sort of carry everything on. We do got a request. Boom. All right. But I do want to see if Hermie is available to come on up as well, because Hermie's been doing some amazing stuff as well.
Hey, Taco, I lost connection there. Yeah, I definitely want to take a peek at all this on the desktops.
Yeah. This is going to be this is some fun stuff here. So I think we're going to work on making some cool stuff, and we're going to have some fun, I do love the way how easy it is to not only create, but to find. So Turkey Circus. But no, this is going to be fun. So how have you been, Simple?
I've been good. Just kind of getting the morning going. Just taking some of our community feedback and just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Also understand just like just a lot of different dynamics going on. Just want to be able to be more supportive for Zen and love that ecosystem. And I mean, dude, it'd be awesome if they brought it over to Solana. I mean, or these other chains.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of just where my head's at, and just getting the day going. Got a little kitty here, and yeah.
Yeah. No, I will be honest. You have been going. This is one of the things that sort of sucks when you become a voice of a community. You go under a lot of fire from a lot of different directions, and then you question your. I'm not going to put this on you, but you end up. So I'm talking from personal experience. You end up questioning yourself of whether or not you truly are bringing value, or if you've been doing something completely wrong the entire time. And so from an outside looking in perspective, but also with a little bit of that experience, just keep doing what you're doing, man. And I would not worry about it. That would be my biggest suggestion,
Yeah, I really appreciate that. It definitely means a lot. And I think it's crazy because I'm just a normal dude, just that likes Zen, and try to spread that word. And I obviously I am participating on a lot of different chains, but at the end of the day, I'm not. It's not like I'm shilling my own token or anything like that. As of yet, I mean, I've I have no idea. I mean, this new Zen Launchpad that's coming out, like that'd be cool to do something. But at the end of the day, I just yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, just as far as like that self-reflection. It's like, oh, like what am I doing? Is this like how did this happen, and how did we get here in the first place? But I think good self-reflection and good feedback. And I definitely need to look at the patterns that kind of come into play and understand the different set of people that are in the ecosystem, and I want to be able to give a voice to everyone. I think that just looking at the past and how people have behaved in certain spaces and places, I have to take that into consideration. I'm letting speakers come in, especially when we're having a guest, that I think is doing some innovative stuff, and that is,
Yeah.
I just need to, because I'm in real life I'm doxxed, but nobody knows who I am, and it's like, okay, and that's okay. That's just a learning lesson for myself, and just keep moving forward. But yeah, I appreciate that, and I plan on being in the Zen ecosystem for as long as it exists. I just don't know as far as what capacity and what vibration I'm really broadcasting, but I do appreciate the kind words, and I like I said, you're kind of an inspiration as well, dude, because you've been doing this for a minute, bro, appreciate that.
Well, hey, thank you. No, it's it's a hard thing, and it's, you do want to give voices to everyone, because you don't know, you don't want to censor, because we don't feel like it's our place to do that. You hope that, but at the same time, we got to create a space and that is, TG Zen said it really good, and how we used to be, to where we are now. And I just I think that it's, we used to onboard people into Zen like crazy and and now it's just, fighting over who has the biggest bag. And that is not inviting to new people, so it's not a really, I don't think it's a very good way to, I think sometimes we have to go back to our roots, and that's sort of the 100%. Way, that is sort of the way that we can do that.
Yeah, the thing that I'm still trying to wrap my head around is, being able to use this internet platform, but also the internet's great. I think, me personally, I like real life stuff, but I'm I think Twitter in and of itself, this past year with Zen and everything, has kind of got me pumped and started speaking. I find that I would like to bridge the gap more in real life, because I think that's where I'm more effective. But I think because there's so many normies, I just need to just keep a basic approach, and maybe even just start setting up events in real life, and getting them involved, and then using the internet and real life. Because I think sometimes a lot of people kind of get in this thought pattern of, oh, it's only online, but sometimes word of mouth is the greatest vehicle.
Yeah. I think that if we get back to it, we'll go back to being, this is something that I think, if we go back to being a nuisance to chains, I think that would be an amazing thing, because then we're showcasing. So Side note, one of the data specs that I didn't know until last night, based on Zen, Zen has become a storage issue for a lot of chains, and that's why it's slowed so many chains down, and we get a little bit of kickbacks. 2 months ago, the Moonbeam ecosystem took up less than the chain's been running for a while and took up less than 500 gigs, and it took a year and a half to get to 500 gigs worth of data storage, because Moonbeam is not a storage chain. It's a smart contract chain. Because of Zen, the chain takes up over 2 terabytes now. And so we do get a little bit of kickback from chains and from devs for that, which is rather interesting. But we've sort of had a time to where we're going from growing to like almost not bringing new people into the know on it, So I think that's where we have to go back to.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's also interesting, and I didn't realize this because with Zen, me personally, like sometimes just chart watching really just messes with my head a bit.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the beautiful things about Zen is like I know that it's tied to layer 1, so I can mint and like push it out, and occasionally I check. I can't lie about that, but one thing that I realized as of recently, it's like it was the all-time low, and just the other day, a few days ago, close to the all-time low, and I think just a lot of people are looking for this pump, and they're not really zooming out and looking at this in a different scope as far as like what Zen is, and kind of what you're saying, get back to the roots of it. It's like this is the logarithmic curve of the coin distribution, and right now we're in the inflationary part of that, and I think people are looking for pumps way too soon, and good things take time, and I think if we give Zen some time and keep doing what we're doing, building and making things happen, it's going to be a win for everyone. It's just I think a lot of people are short-sighted, and sometimes all times low, they suck. No one likes to lose, right?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that can kind of play a factor in how people are in the internet space. But I can't judge. It's just kind of what I'm seeing from my perspective.
Yeah. Let's see here. I want to do something. Want to run through something that maybe you can help me. We talked about doing this, and since you're here, you have some time?
Yeah, I got a little bit of time.
All right, let's get crazy here for a second. Let's see here. What do I want to do? I'm going to reset the room real quick. So GM, everyone, thank you for joining us for TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode 334. We spent the first part of the morning talking about Foster Protocol on Solana, and walked through doing both a collection mint and a single mint as well, and how quickly you can create and upload art, and how quickly you can price it out for sale. And so and the community that's being built by Foster, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Foster Protocol sort of got their name because they wanted to foster growth, foster a community. That's going to be my assumption here. And we had Plumpa on with us, talking about that, and the ins and outs of the Solana ecosystem from a creator standpoint. And so we're gonna sort of pivot, and we're gonna go looking at talking about Zen a little bit and some of the things that we see within there. What is what's the short term simple for Polygon Zen? It's not PZen. PZen is pulse chain.
MZen.
MZen, that's right. Because it is Matic. All right. MZen. All right. And then we have AVAX for AZen. And what we're doing for those that are joining us on screen and seeing the video is I'm making out a quick spreadsheet based on these different current prices of Zen and how many days it takes for profit. And profit means making more money than it cost for minting and, claiming as well. So, yeah. All right, that's a good explanation of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. The kitty thinks so too.
All right. And what POW is, that is POW Zen. Moonbeam. You know. Let's see, Evmos. I am a little so Evmos, if we did something to where it hopped over into the Cosmos ecosystem, that'd actually be cool. What is that? EVZM. That's what we're gonna call that. FZen for FTM. Let's see here. What else do we have? I'm not even going to touch Doge Chain, but we'll do that anyway, just because we do that. That's
OKX. Yeah, I don't really touch that either. OKC.
I do. Doge Chain is the only one that I have not minted on. And just so everyone knows, it is the EVM version of Doge Chain. I had to stop someone because someone was giving advice to go mint on Doge Chain, and I was like, no, that's not right. And we're not going to touch DevNet or anything like that. And so let's 1 day mint, right? What is that? 1 day mint. Let's see here. And we need price discovery, coin market cap, right? No, we'll go Dex Screener. Ouch.
And a lot of the stuff that you can find too, if you're looking for some of those contract addresses and stuff, Zen.pub is a good place for that.
Zen.pub is a good. I do like Zen.pub.
What you're doing is finding out when it's profitable, that's huge too, and that is not available there.
Yeah. And the reason why I don't think is just because the simple fact that it changes so much based on how much is launching. But hey, we've gone up from we dropped to 0 today, so that's sort of good. Right? Yep. 1, 2, 08. So we're building out. All right, price. Let's see here. Zen on Yeah, we've had a 30% boost in price in the last 24 hours. Not bad. All right. Where else do I want to go? All right. Oh man. So here's a question then for you. Have you done, how many of the other protocols have you done? How many of the meme coins or whatever have you done?
So I've done Phoenix. I've done
Okay.
BBZ. I've done Zenlon Mars. And then I got out of that. But that's pretty much where I'm at. And I know there's a Zen Dodge. I haven't tapped into that. But yeah, those are the protocols that I've done.
Okay. Not a whole lot of not as many. You know, I feel that burning Zen, I don't want to. I feel that the long game might be holding on to Zen, but not everyone's in it for the long game. But I want to. I feel like I need to be. You know.
Yeah, I think the old school mint as long as you can, steak as long as you can. It's like definitely like echoing in my ears right now when I hear that, because yeah, there was never, like, I think originally, like, there wasn't this idea of burning Zen. It was just like, no, make sure you're hanging on to it and staking it. Yeah, then protocols started coming out and people started wanting to burn.
Yeah.
Especially like the first protocol with the Zen FTs. Like I was salivating to get a Zunicorn on ETH, but at the time I think they were around like 10K, and I was just like, I can't do it. I don't have enough Zen, and I wasn't willing to market buy at that time at that price. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I want a Zunicorn on ETH.
Yeah, no, that was one of the hard pieces, you know, of where, you know, where do you get in, you know, and so it's a hard thing to do, you know, but you know, I think that it really puts us forward on that. Let's see here. Boom. Wrap BNB. A new pool was made 3 months ago. Let's see here. We still have our 9-month-old pool because of V3. That's right. PancakeSwap launched its V3 piece. And so let's see here. All right, let's go see what price discovery is here. There is a little bit of arbitrage able to do right now between V2 and V3. You can buy cheaper and sell for more between the two. But we will look at that, and we have this price discovery here. So that is what we're going to be doing there. What is that? That is 8 zeros. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 0. No, I want you as true number. Man. All right. Oh.
Any of the BRC20s?
I have a few BRC20s. I have someone else that got the that piece for us, you know. So I don't have but yeah. So that is, you know, it's an interesting aspect there. I like it. All right, pancake swap. Where is our polygon? All right. Polygon. Let's see. V3 9 months ago. All right. This has been a fun ride on this so far. So really excited to sort of see. We've had some awesome, you know, we'll see a lot of stuff coming out, you know. You know, I think what is that? That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 3, 7, 6. I don't know. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to this bridge, this VMPX bridge. I'm also looking forward to more of this bitmap stuff to be built out. Looking forward to this launchpad.
Yeah.
This the Zenify. I think that's going to be a really strong protocol. This TG Zen should be cool. I think I think there's a lot of great projects that are coming out, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what the market does and what the users burn for and get involved in. Right? I know everyone's like building like these tokens for other tokens, everything like that. I would really love to see something built out where I don't know, like just I don't really know the term to use for it, but just like I guess more utilities.
Okay.
Versus other tokens. You know, I can appreciate, you know, the burning and everything like that, but maybe utility.
Now, when you say that, what, like, when, you know, when I hear people ask for utility, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I guess the ability to build, and that's really why I think this, like, the build for like rookies like myself, when it comes to like a technical side, I'm not really too technical. I've kind of just a lot of my understanding for the crypto space came from Richard Hart and a lot of things he was preaching, and then when Jack started spreading some light on just some of the things that were being said in that ecosystem, and some of the echo chambers and things like that, it had me zoom out a little bit more, and then just going on this ride with Zen and being able to mint on like 12 different chains. That's pretty much like how like I'm in this game and learning about it, but I don't really know how to build in the same way that a lot of other like guys that can just like write code and things like that, like build in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would just be great this launch pad for everyday people to be able to build on top of Zen. So I think that is kind of one of the things, like it's going to be great, like as far as like the utility umbrella. But I would also say like just basic stuff where maybe it's I don't even know if it's going under utility, but like being able to use your Zen to burn for music or burn for these other offerings, or like a marketplace or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It is something cool. Ooh, we've got some price action on Moonbeam, up 53%. Zen in the last 24 hours. Woohoo! Maybe I shouldn't have burnt all of my Moonbeam Zen for Moonbeam DB Zen. No, did I do that? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. All right. But we got some cool stuff coming up, you know. Yeah, we got some cool pools coming up. So we've had $1,000 of volume in 24 hours. So let's go. I am happy with that. That makes me happy. All right, so let's see here. All right, what else do you think we're going to need on this page for it to be easily readable for people, other than price, native price? Simple.
Price, native price. What else would be good to see? Daily percentage change, maybe.
I don't know if
that might be a little rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're just making a static page right now. So I'm not adding any. So someone can go and we'll make a formula. But you know, I think I think the worst the worst we're gonna have to look at is I'm just gonna be going off of Gwei prices right now. So maybe Gwei that'll hold some sway. So people can understand that that's what the Gwei is at. That's what the cost is. And maybe they can pull from there what that might really look like for them. So, oh man, we're almost done on prices. But no, this is one of those things where we have two different liquidity pools. Which one do we want? We want Spooky Swap. If we could get more liquidity on some of these other chains, I think there would be a lot more interest in it.
Yeah, I think that's the tough part right now is and just speaking on avalanches, there's you can have a certain amount of Zen that comes up in mints, but you're not actually able to get that out if there's no liquidity for it. And so then I think from that perspective, it makes a lot of people burn, which I think, again, burning for X1, I think is a beautiful thing. But again, kind of back to what we were talking about before, X1 wasn't really something that was the intention.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great way to incorporate burn and give burn more value. Which I wonder, maybe you can kind of chime in on this. What do you think is going to happen, like after X1 comes out, with the burns? Like, because people are right now, I think there's incentive to burn for the X1 allocation.
Yeah.
But when it comes out, like, why would people want to burn their Zen? Because they probably wouldn't receive X1 allocation.
Well, I think there would still be X1 allocation because that's being derived for. So, because one of the things that Jack said was that not everyone might not claim their X1. They might not burn Zen, so then that becomes an economic play there as well, so pulling in economic theory, do you call that note in, so to speak, and so, because it's not going to be, the allocation isn't going to just be for those that, let's say for some there's I don't remember what the current number is of the allocation, I think 1/3, but it's not going to be like only those who show up and burn will get that share of the allocation,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
but I guess I just mean like, yeah, because for the burn receipts, I guess that's like one of the ways where you can get X1 allocation, right?
Yeah.
And so I wonder how long that burn receipt, how long that period will be.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see there. I will, I am interested in seeing what really comes out of that, how people end up using that will be really interesting. So, So what I do wish we could do, which would make it, I think, healthier. I wish we could combine different chain LP pools so that it was more, rather than having two different pools, that it was combined, combined into one. And I think that's why I like V3 stuff, is because rather than V2, is because then from that aspect, you can really sort of see better price action for 2, 3, 5, 2. All right. There we go. We got some price action there. Let's see here. What else do we want to look at? We want to look at CoinMarketCap. And we can start filling these in. Oh, we've had some dips on some prices. That's okay. Did you get in on the XRP bull run a little bit?
No, my family members did though. They've been DCAing for a while, but yeah, I'm really excited with that. I mean, I was kind of tapping on what you were saying earlier, just about how it takes a little time for SEC to land, or to be able to come to conclusions and understand how things are going to work for these other cryptos. But I think it's pretty bullish for everyone.
Yeah.
Did you ride a little wave there?
Oh yeah, I went into futures on that. Made some JPEG money. Yeah. So
made some JPEG money. I like that.
Yeah. So it was sort of it was sort of what writing that in. And what's hilarious is I was in the middle of nowhere when that happened. So it, like, for one of the days to be away from a computer, that was a bad day in a way, if we want. But then I also think of it in the same fashion that if I hadn't been away from my computer, this is what I'm telling myself. If I hadn't been away from my computer, prices wouldn't have gone up because I was watching them too closely. So I wanted to help the entire ecosystem, and support. So that's how I did it.
Funny how those things work, right?
Yeah.
Just like when it's like that. I know there's.
You disappeared there. Simple. Oh, you muted.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's interesting on how that came about. And bad connection piece. So as he resets, I'm gonna reset the room. Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. We have we started our space off with Solana ecosystem, marketplace Foster, and we had Plumpa, and we sort of got to showcase how easy it was to create a NFT collection, how easy it was to make one-of-one art, because that's sort of what Foster is really about. And showcasing some of those pieces there. What really was really cool to see was how you could sort of feel the love from Plumpa of having a not just 2D art, but 3D art. And we talked a little bit about Threeland. For those that don't know, Threeland is a metaverse that you can go and make. You get your own room, you can go explore, but you can go and insert any of your NFTs as 3D images within your space. And so what's really cool is you can then create things for sale, or you can buy other things that you see. Like if someone went and made a couch and you really like that couch, you can buy a copy of it right then and there and put that in your 3D metaverse. Foster has a really cool thing coming up with a circus in Threeland. So would love for people to be ready for that. There's some really cool stuff coming out. So just be ready for that. And it's going to be amazing. And then we've sort of moved over a little bit and we're talking about Zen and price discovery. But then some of the aspects of holding spaces and just sort of making sure that you're not the kind of sensor that we all talk about. And one of the little things that I'm doing right now because it hasn't been done in a long time, is days to mint to be in profit. And when I say to be in profit, that's based off of the cost of Gwei versus because you're only paying gas fees to mint, how many days you have to mint to be in profit, to cover that cost. Because anything over that, you're then looking at some really cool stuff. So that is where we are at right now. We are just filling in some of the blanks on that. And then we're going to showcase what that means for everyday users. Where are we at? Where's the current price? 24 cents. And so, if you have any questions, please feel free to come on up, ask them, or join us up on video, up on the Jumbotron, as we are going out to a few different spaces right now to get this out there. We're on 2 YouTube channels, Twitch, Telegram, Xenon, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So And if you have any questions, please feel free. Put in that request. GM kid. GM.
Yo, you're all over the place, man.
In what way?
Like you're all on platforms. That's what's up.
Oh yeah, man. It's one of those things, creating daily content has been a fun thing that I've been doing now for 5 years. TacoBytes is coming up on a year. So, it's just, the next big thing is, I'm going to be working to partner with an actual radio station. So,
dude, crypto radio is like something that everybody knows, like what's his name on TV, Jim Cramer, and stuff like that. But crypto radio, and there's even people like Dave Ramsey, but there's no people in my mind come up when it's like crypto radio. Radio is dead, but
it's not though.
Man.
It's not.
It's not. You're right.
It's not. People people think it is, and I'm putting myself into this category, but it is still a huge powerhouse. One of my friends, and I'm gonna butcher his last name before I remember how to say it right. I call him, his name is Sal. Sal D. I always want to say DiGiorno, but it's not. It's oh my gosh, Sal. So he used to run VFriends Radio, and so talking about what's going on in VFriends ecosystem and everything, and his show was syndicated to where it was going up to satellite, and there was like a handful of radio stations that picked it up and played it. And so not only was he hosting Twitter Space, but in that Twitter Space, it was broadcasted live to radio and a bunch of other platforms. But people could either come up on stage to talk or call an 800 number.
Yes, you got the right idea, man. Like this call-in show, it's the same format you kind of got now. Like come up to the stage, ask a question, and just the radio gives you that ultimate streamline of viewers and everything. But yeah, wow, man, I haven't heard anybody think anything creative like that in a minute.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just slow sometimes. So sometimes it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, but things get built. It's a fun piece there.
Yeah, and I love talk radio. So, wow, this is actually a really, really awesome idea.
Yeah. But, and I think it really gives people a chance to sort of see what, people can ask those questions that they normally would never ask, and what we might already all know, but someone just doesn't know, and we sort of got to be that voice, So, but how have you been doing, man? How's your week been so far?
Man, it's good. I'm trying to get the work week done so I can, rest. But other than that, it's the normal week, man.
Okay.
I want DB's in to come out though next month, so DB's NFT, so I'm a little giddy.
Yeah. All right. I've seen some really cool. I've gone through the white papers a few times, waiting to see what else comes out on that. I don't know. I feel that there's a lot of gamification in there, which, there's a lot of movement that, different things. What do you have a game plan yet? Or are you just going to go in it?
Okay. So, I read the white paper, but I guess I didn't read it good enough because Raz when he came in, he said, if you unstake your DXN from the DBs NFT, you're gonna pay protocol fees, and if you stake it, you're gonna pay protocol fees as well. So when I factored that in, I'm like, wow. So anytime you enter or exit, you gotta feed the system.
Yeah.
It just really got me thinking, like, should I hurry up and just get a position, or should I wait and like slowly creep in? And what worked for me last time, I got in on DXN day one on every other chain. So what helped me is actually getting in early, because I got so many tokens early on that even if I didn't burn, I was still able to keep up with that dilution. So I think I might just go, full steam ahead.
Okay. I will be honest. I think I waited too long to get into DB Zen, just because I was like, I want to just see everyone burn Zen, to where now I do DB Zen on a whole bunch of other chains. I don't do ETH DB Zen too much, just because I feel like that is Grail stuff right now. I just sort of I'm excited to see what it does, So
yeah, you see it, man, on Moonbeam and AVAX. I actually love DXN on the smaller chains than I do like it on ETH. It just gives you so much. Avalanche has been through one bull market, and Moonbeam hasn't been through one. Evmos hasn't been through one. So those are tokens. I'm like, yo, imagine taking these tokens through the bull run with DBZen. Oh man, we get the privilege to do like the best stuff in the crypto community, man.
Yeah. Well, heck, Moonbeam Zen is up 50% in the last 24 hours. So that makes me a little happy. We're gonna see what that does, and how that really, what that does for everything.
So you had a question for Bonobi when he was when we were in that Sunday space. I don't know if it was directed towards anybody, but you said you really liked when DXN was going to be burned for X1, and I really like that as well. I think like that's the ultimate way to collab with these developers, is to integrate.
Oh no, that wasn't for Bonobi. That was for one of there's 5 projects coming out. Oh my gosh, which one was it? I think it was the
Zenify.
Yeah, so VF Zen.
Oh yeah.
Where it was going to be burning Zen and DB Zen. I think that was the protocol, and then they responded back like, we listened to the community and we're not going to burn DB Zen. I was like, why not? Let's burn it. Because what I would love to see, this is where I'm a little nervous with some of the protocols, is you're getting too many different rewards, that will shard liquidity. And if you're getting too many different tokens out of it, people are expecting you put in $1 and now you get $3, or do you get 33 cents of each token? And so if you get 33 cents of each token, then cool. That's economic energy, being spread out. But when people are expecting to get $3 out of that one, I really think that they're missing the point of what it, what's going to happen there,
So what do you mean by that? Like, you mean we should try and get rid of like one of the tokens, like, is you getting the native and then the DXN, or you mean like
So
don't necessarily just keep building tokens on top of tokens on top of tokens.
Well, so like, all right, DBZen, I go use that protocol. I'm calling the burn function from Zen. So that qualifies me for X1. All right. So who knows what that value is going to be, how much it's going to be. Let's just say I'm just going to use ones here. Obviously that's not going to be, the case. But if I use X amount, I burn X amount of Zen, I'm going to get DB, some amount of DB Zen. I'm going to get some form of X1, and I'm going to get drip if I have my DB Zen staked. So we're taking something that was created, and I'm going to say created with nothing. Yes, we're paying gas fees. That's it. But I'm not buying that token. And, and so what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing a quick little exercise on spreadsheet to check GUI costs and estimated returns for that, so we can sort of see what that might look like, because I want people to know that, like, to be able to see, like, this is what you're going to get from one day of minting, and this is how many days it's going to take to get into profit. So how many Zen are you going to have to mint? And so, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. I was looking at the wrong thing. And so I think that, people are expecting too much from one thing. And so what I hate to use this term because I think it might scare people away, but what can happen is this almost turns into, if people quit feeding the beast, then the beast dries up. But what we see happening is, and I've done a little bit of chain analysis to see what people are doing with their, like, DB Zen. And when they get a large portion of it, they don't stake all of it. They go sell it off, which, it was great when DB Zen was in that $70 price range. When it's on ETH, when it's in this $3 range, we can sort of see, like, and it's sort of staying around there, and it went up some more. That's sort of where I think market discovery allows it to come into play, and might be its real price point. Now, will there be another run on it? I'm sure there will be. But as long as it keeps coming out and keeps getting created, if it's not being burned, it's just going to be, it's an inflationary token. And so the drip is going to be reduced because more people get it and spread that stake out. And the people that just keep minting huge amounts of Zen, they're going to keep burning a huge amount of Zen to win the lobby, to win the auction, to win King of the Hill. They'll be getting the majority share of that DB Zen. So, and it pushes everyone else out, and it almost sort of strips the meat off the bones. Now, if we find a protocol way to be able to burn that DB Zen, it will make DB Zen more precious. And Zen made ETH had a major hand of making ETH ultrasound money a lot faster than any other protocol was doing. So if we are able to incentivize burning like we've been doing, then I think that we can make things profitable again for everyone. And, if you make profit on, of $1, that's better than most banking institution pieces. So that's where I sort of think that there's an interesting piece there.
Right. Yeah. DXN is crazy how much utility it presents. So how do you feel about Phoenix? That's what I'm interested in here now.
So Phoenix, okay. I have sat down to go. I've read through Phoenix a few times, and I know Joe. I've got to meet him. I've got to break bread with him. I really, really like him. He is freaking smart as heck. I think it's one of those things where he might have made it a little too technical. Because there's not an easy walkthrough on the website. You have to go to you have to do one thing on one tab, then you have to go to another tab, then you have to go back to another tab, and then also then you could go mint Zen through the protocol too. But like if it was cleaned up to where this is the easy flow and this is what each thing means, I think that a UI redesign might be really helpful to it. I participated in it. I have a bunch of Phoenix. I think I staked a bunch of Phoenix too. What I'm getting out of that, what it's doing, I don't know. I read through the white papers a ton of times and I'm like, wait, is it every 13 weeks, 13 days? What happens? There's a little bit too much there with Phoenix, And it's not a bad thing.
No, you're right. Like I come from Hex, so
yeah.
I don't know if it's that allows me to I guess easier understand Phoenix, but man, it does have to be simplified. I don't know how, I don't know where, but maybe it's because it's so similar to a project that he's already involved in. Maybe he kind of just skipped a step and was like, let's get here and not go to the the easier, more trends. Because the website, all of those tabs, I don't really like that either. I would prefer to have everything within like a dashboard or
Yeah. And so I think I think one of the things that I wish that what I saw and what I felt that was sort of taught that from Hex was this legacy wallet stuff, and being tied to one wallet. I thought that we sort of learned that was sort of taught, because when I first like got into Hex and people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to have the same wallet for 5,555 days. I'm like, yeah, no. You know everything that can happen in 5 days, and so it's sort of crazy, and I wish that it was done a little bit different. I wish that there was, yeah. I wish it was done a little bit different on that. How different, I don't know, but it's something interesting to see there.
I think you're 100% right. I even expressed this to Joe Blau early on, because you know how Hex, they have the HSIs and the portable stakes now,
Yeah.
So if you have a native Hex stake, you still have to keep it for the 555. But the newer stakes, okay, now you don't have to, force the burden on yourself. So I was asking Joe early on, I'm like, dude, is there any, HSI or flexibility? And it was always no. And that's the one thing I feel like he did kind of drop the ball with, because it is 777, so it's more than the 555. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. And I love the fact that a protocol's looking out that far in the future, but not being able to move that, you know, and I think so. You know, it was Icosa and Hedron that really got me into saying there's a lot of cool tech here. There's something amazing here, you know. And so I think that you know, it's one of those things to where people sort of need to see that coming. You know, they need to be reassured that if there's an issue, they can find a solution. And being tied to one wallet, you know, that's a hard thing to do. So, and I think you know, Jack did a really cool thing with you know, the Zen NFTs. I think that really gave the idea that you could be long term in it, and you didn't have to manage 5,000 wallets. You know, like I remember the early days of Zen. You know, I don't know how many wallets you were managing, and before Coin Tools came out, and then it was pretty cool. Like, you know, you're like, oh, I still got to use Coin Tools to like claim all of these wallets that made, but at the same time, now I can not only benefit from getting what's the word? Getting X1, but I can sell that position now if I need to, which we didn't really see that happening. So that really excites me. But
yeah,
I need to
burn that position.
One of the things I need to burn that position too. One of the things I need to work on getting is I've been in contact with Zen Garbage Dump protocol, the new one launching, and they're like, hey, our English is horrible. Can you help us get a translator? And I'm like, that is one of the things I'm working on right now is as a translator. So
what language do they speak?
Chinese.
Oh shit! Wow.
So
one of the hardest languages to speak. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and not only with that, but it's one of the things to where getting okay, Glay is the 3 there. So getting someone that's crypto native so that they can understand the translations back and forth in questions. So that'll be the fun piece there.
So I don't know the full gist of the Zen Garbage Dump. I know about the Zenify, and I think you mentioned one other thing. But what is this Zen Garbage Dump? I'm interested.
So all of the meme coins or all of the tokens that have been created out of the Zen ecosystem, you can go and burn them in one place. So if you have some DB Zen, you have some Xenon, you have some Exlon, you have some Zen Doge, all of the other ones that have sort of come out about it, you know.
So this is like the recycling bin. Okay, I got you. I get where they're.
And then there's going to be a token off of that. So, what I sort of like about that is, you know, cool. If I burn, you know, $30 worth of DB Zen or I burn $30 worth of Zen, I'm going to get the same amount of, GD Zen or, garbage dump Zen. So that will be one of the really cool things with that, I think. Same thing like with what VF Zen is doing. So with that, yeah, there's just a bunch of cool stuff coming out, man.
Right. So my next questions would be this here for the Zen garbage dump. Is there any receipt for a burn of a burn? Just so like if a person were to try to do an airdrop, it's like, okay, you've burned DXN, so you qualify for this airdrop. That would be really interesting.
That would be cool. Burn receipt of what you're burning. If it's so this is the thing then. Do you reward the people that bought on the market or burn to earn?
Burn to earn. I think burn to earn is just, I want to see the burners earn.
Because what we've seen, and this was one of the things, was those who minted Zen NFTs will, they get the X1. So I could mint a Zen NFT and then go sell it. But then I'm the one that put in that initial work. So I benefit from X1. So, but what we've seen is a lot of people go and buy DBZen and, then I guess what would be cool is what would have been an interesting thing with DBZen is, so how you get your DBZen drip automatically based off of your burn rewards, and it's put into that one little protocol piece where it says it's staked until you unstake it. What if that he had made it to where if you had unstaked it, no longer qualified for the drip? Because then you sold it and whoever might have bought it didn't put in the initial effort.
Like all of your drip?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there would be like, a way to make it to where if you bought DBZen on open market and staked it, it would be in a different contract, but it only like qualified for 25% of the power.
Well, it kind of works like that, but it's not. There's no like guidelines, right? So
yeah,
if you just buy in the open market and stake, yeah, you get the fees, but you wouldn't get the fees if you were like a burner, and you had staked as well. Like let's just say like I bought 5 DXN and staked it.
Yeah.
If I were to literally earn and receive 5 DXN, you would get more through the burn than through just the buying. But yeah, I get what you're saying. There needs to be like some, I don't know, like some kiddie railings up so people know like, what you should really be doing.
Yeah. And going back into the times of like how we like I've like okay, so I'm really big in the Moonbeam ecosystem and stuff like that, and I've been fighting with a lot of the devs and stuff like that, and some information was shared with me yesterday. Well, they shared it with me, last month, but I didn't see it till yesterday. So this is information that's a month old, but or just 3 weeks old, with how much data Zen takes up. And so I think that if we figure out ways to burn Zen with and taking data off of chains with it rather than the burn receipt or something along those lines, I think that might get chains to be more happy with us. And yeah, they make a chain that's open source. Anyone can go do it. So why be upset? But it's I think what I sort of see here is the aspect of chain bloating that's happening because of Zen. You know, the whole airplane seat conundrum.
Yeah.
You know, one person that sits in a seat, and you know, there's a larger person sits in a seat that takes up 2 seats. Should they be paying for 1 seat or should they be paying for 2 seats? It's sort of a, you know, one of those really weird conundrums. And so that's sort of what Zen is sort of doing. It's taking up one, you know, bought 1 seat, but taking up 2 seats or 90% of the seats. And so, one, it's really interesting to see how chains evolve to that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, I love this conversation for one, but yeah, I think that it's a part of Zen's nature to kind of just absorb everything. But you pointed it out, like, exactly. It's just chain blow. And that's where people are getting this infinite printing or whatever coming from, because I guess we basically can print infinitely, you know, even if you won't get the same amount of Zen. So, well, you're still restricted by gas, but
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I do think that there should be a way for us to kind of offload it, which I do think is X1.
Yeah.
But chain specifically, yeah, there has to be a fun way for guys to be like, we like this Zen stuff causing a bunch of commotion, and then just kind of, you know, going off to the distance.
Yeah. And I think that it leads to a lot of different possibilities. That, you know, we might not like, because we saw what happened with OKC. You know, we changed we fundamentally changed their chain so much that, and put so much load on their chain that they restricted the contract. You know, we saw that happen on Doge chain as well.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. And did you hear about the multi-chain hack and everything that's going on with Phantom right now?
Oh yeah, so that happened last year, and or not last year, almost 2 months ago is when it started. And I think you know, FTM so I've been a huge multi-chain proponent for years. And 2.5 years, let's say 2.5 years. And Chinese authorities targeted their main key holders of the main wallets for it. And when they got arrested, you know, we saw a lot of movement within FTM, and some other bridges have popped up since then. And it really sucks to see multi-chain sort of getting drained like that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, my next question would be, what are your concerns? Because you're a lot more technical, and I'm just a speculator. So,
yeah,
you know, are we all right with Phantom Zen, and should we be ringing the flag for the people?
Well, so really what we'll see happen is liquidity draining, you know? And so and that'll be from bridged assets. If there's a new movement on it today that I haven't been updated, but it's just someone moving around money and unpairing, you know, so like they get into the bridging wallets. And this is why I'm gonna bring this back I'll bring this back to Zen in a second. And what I think I see in a solution with EVMPX. So there's all of these different wallets that are holding different assets that create value. So there's a huge pool of like a wallet that has, you know, millions of dollars in different assets. And that's basically what any bridge is you put money into a bank on one side, and across the river, they release the money from the bank from that side. And so those become huge targets. What we see is that if the liquidity is pulled out from one side without it being returned in from the other side, it then gets rid of that backing. And so we see that, you know, to make a comparison piece to that, that's almost like, you know,
the hack, the Binance, yeah.
Well, no, not just that, but
the Solana joint.
I know. When we got moved off the dollar, when we got moved off the gold standard, there was no longer gold backing the dollar. And so the one that sort of gave free reign to the US to print money. But when it's you have gold on one side, and we're going to give you this currency on the other side representing that. But at any time you can take that currency and come and get it for gold. Now all the gold is gone. So you have to wait for something new to come and back that up.
Wow. So what would really be the state of Phantom, man? You left me in like the same position.
So if I remember right, multi-chain only has about 35% of the issued assets. That's still a huge amount. Do not get me wrong. If we're talking about $1 and I take away 35 cents of that and say you still have $1, you're like, no, I don't. But that's what your token representation shows. So, but when you try to go redeem that dollar, you get, 65 cents instead of that full dollar. So what will be interesting to see is how protocols step up. Like when USDC depegged, people turned on the switches we thought either that BlackRock was going to Circle and BlackRock were going to let that sort of die and depeg, and then say, well, hey, we happen to have this other thing to replace it by chance. Or were they going to redeem it because Circle has a lot bigger of a plan? And if it had lost USDC there, that plan would have fallen apart. And when I say plan, it sort of sounds nefarious, but I'm not meaning nefarious things. I'm meaning Circle is looking to become a stable dollar for currencies across the world. They have USDC, they have Eurocoin. They just partnered with Japan to launch. I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean it in any negative way. What?
The digital yuan?
No, it's being called, the short form is JapCoin.
Really? Oh man, that's not your fault.
And I'm saying, and I think that's just being it's a I'm sure they're gonna reword it to like Jcoin. That's gonna be my guess. And my but yeah, and so we'll see. And you said you want I think it's, if I remember right, it's yen for Japan. I think you were thinking Chinese.
Yeah, China, yep.
Yep. So so yen is the currency for Japan. So This will be the a stable currency, digital currency for Japan. But this is the thing we get to see in the United States. We get to see what kind of regulation pieces come out of this, because these are not drug dealers, hackers, your everyday criminals that are executing these attacks. These are nation states, unfortunately, we have, the likes of Elizabeth Warren, and now she has her anti-crypto army 2.0 building out, because, she failed with her first attempt and really read the room wrong there. But I think that we'll see a difference, so who knows? But this isn't the first time this has happened. This why I've always, and this won't be the last time. The reason why I like multi-chain is their last big hack that they had was through an NFT protocol. And without any question, once they stabilized and once they isolated that hack and fixed it, with no questions asked, they reimbursed all affected users. And so people are going to ask, well, how can this affect me? What are some of the things that I can do? So if you're on some of these chains that have these assets, you can swap them before they depeg to like a wormhole asset, which is usually followed by like either started or ending with a WH. And so it's a wormhole asset, as well as revoking privileges, revoking approvals. You can do that. The easiest way to do that is through revoke.cash. I wish one of these days we came up with an atomic swap of some kind that covered this like for free for people. That would be a really cool thing. Until we get that, you do have to pay the on-chain fee to revoke those signatures and revoke those approvals, just like you had to pay to approve them. So that's the biggest piece there, to not have, to get out of those assets. If I tell you that X is going down, but you still have time to change from X to Y, do that. So
it's 50-50 or 60-70?
Yeah. We'll see until they figure that out.
60-40, I mean, but yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love Phantom. It's just
Yeah.
This is crypto.
Yep.
Yo, Taco, do you know if it's like just Phantom, or is it like other chains affected as well?
So one of the biggest ways that I know right off the top of my head how where there's other effects happening is through price discovery oracles that are pulling prices. So things might be looking like they're going down when they're actually not. They're just they're paired to a price discovery that's wrong. I do not know off the top of my head right now where
I think,
the contagion lies.
Sorry to cut you off. I think I heard you said because Moonbeams then the price was not accurate because of some oracle for the USDC or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so I know, so my token on Moonbeam, the price was going off. And so and that was because price oracles we're pulling from CMC CoinMarketCap, which hasn't updated things yet, but then it's correct on CoinGecko, you know. And so when I say my token, I mean that arbitrarily for my decks that I work with on Moonbeam. So
that's it. What is it, by the way?
Stella Swap.
Oh, Stella Swap.
That is why I talk Stella Swap all the time.
That's it. Yeah. But yeah, another thing with Phantom, do you think because like the price of Phantom hasn't really like reflected like that much of a electricity, do you think it's like the damage is like yet to come sort of thing, like
it's one of those things to where I don't think that everything the chips haven't all laid out where they're going to land yet. I don't think this is going to stop Phantom. I got to meet some of the BD team in January, and meet some of the projects building on Phantom. And so I don't think that you know, it's going to be a blow to it. And you know, one of the main statements from Andre Grone is that they're gonna seek solutions to make all of their victims whole. So it's one of those things to where you wait, we'll see.
Yeah. Thanks for answering my questions. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
it's scary. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's because it's stable coins like and bridges and stuff. Like they're not.
Yep.
I guess they're not fully like trustless and stuff.
Yeah. Well, so there's trustless and permissionless. I think, you know, Kid. I know. Like, I think that you were asking Ben the other day about the bridges of permissionless versus trustless, and he's like, it's not really trustless because it's permissionless. A bridge is permissionless in the aspect of no one can censor you bridging. The trustless is believing your assets are your assets and are proving based on you know, without having to, until it's, what's the right way of saying it? Cryptographically proven. So that's what a hash, you know, a hash is. A transaction hash is proof that it happened without having to show your work for it. But the work is there. And so
So I got a question for
yeah.
So with your just crypto knowledge, is there any way for a bridge to be trustless? Like there were some community members talking about like Jack's vision of a bridge. Is there any way to have a trustless bridge?
Now, what are you wanting when you say trustless bridge? What does that mean to you?
Well, see, that's what I'm asking, because there's just people asking certain questions around, and for me, these are tough questions, and I'm like, I don't really think that, you know, it doesn't really make sense. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and so
it was one of the reasons why I had asked Benobi that question, like in that space, is because everyone in the community was talking about this trustless bridge that Jack is making and all of this. And I'm like, listen, guys, this sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. So I guess not having to rely on a third party when it comes to a bridge
Right. It just
I think people are using the wrong terminology because you are using a third party. You're not doing it yourself. You're not providing you brought your assets and now you want someone to provide those assets on a different chain than you're on. So you automatically have to rely on a third party. Where it's permissionless is the aspect that you don't need their permission to do that. If they have the assets on the other side and you claim them, it's first come, first serve, then you can do that. So I guess I don't want to throw anyone under the bus on terminology. I think, some people are, you can, I don't know how someone can be their own bridge, other than they just automatically go and buy the assets on that side of the chain. So a bridge in and of itself, you have to have trust in it, but it's permissionless. So I don't know if people are using the right words.
Right. Well, I'm familiar with how these things work, but maybe the way I communicate or, my lack of knowledge doesn't allow me to, be able to communicate effectively. But that's ultimately what I try to communicate with people. And I've been trying to say for weeks in some of the spaces I've held in other spaces, like this whole trustless bridge stuff, it doesn't make sense. Like when you know what a bridge is, like you described it, you literally lock it on one side to release it on the other. Like, that in itself cannot be trustless. It just right. So it's cool if you can just switch subject, whatever. But I was just asking just to clear the air, like just because people were saying Jack's vision and he's trying to do it.
And this is where the idea where rather than different assets moving across bridges, and so where one equals one type of thing, instead of like me trying to take 1x and have it equal 1b somewhere else or 1 of b somewhere else. I think that is where we like we get tied up, where bridges get tied up. I think with EVPMX, if that is just the transmitter and it is never anything else, then that could technically, there could be a way that could become trustless, where you're on X1, all right, and you have whatever token you have, you get Taco token on X1, because I'm going to be making a Taco token depending on how this IDO launchpad things comes up, because I go and make Taco shitcoin on every chain I can, and I just keep it and I give it away. Why? Because it's fun, so let's say there's Taco token, and I'm the one that has to create value for it. So I have to pair it to VMPX for it to be a tradable piece on X1. So I then trade into VMPX on X1. I then want one VMPX on Bitcoin as a BRC20. How do I get there? I lock my VMPX, my X VMPX gets locked up. I get one E VMPX is my bridge across to give me one VMPX on as a BRC20. And then I can trade and swap that BRC20 VMPX for whatever, for Bitcoin or any other token I want over there. So if that is the transmission, if there's only one focal point, only one token that is a bridge, you're not going to have to worry about a lot of different assets that way. And I think that will help with, that could provide, I'm wondering how if that would fall into a layer of trustlessness.
I think that would be like another layer of permissionlessness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, wow, that was pretty interesting there. But yeah, okay, so Jack he's cranking his brain off.
Yeah, and I think, and this is the thing, like we got a lot of people who, and welcome to the stage, Plan D as well. But I think we have like a lot of people that are just like, they have this stick and they're like, Dev, do something. And I'm like, he literally just handed everyone a blank canvas. You also want him to paint the picture too. Like, you know, yeah, it changes this whole storyline, I think, of when we try to put our point of view into a builder building something that might not have happened the way it happened originally, or the way it originally planned. If we're happy with the first result, let's sit back and see what the second result is, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always loved the things that Jack has done, but you know, this is like a partnership here, right? So
yeah,
it's not necessarily totally aligned with Zen, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna accept it. I want him to keep doing what he's doing. I definitely don't want him to stop.
Yeah.
But
because we don't know. Oh, sorry, my bad. Keep going. I apologize.
No, I was just gonna wrap it up with like, I just kind of want more things being built for Zen. Like right now, like you said, it's a blank canvas, but you know, when you start painting the corner of that canvas, you kind of want to like fill it up a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think though, what he did is he made something that is out there for other people to use, and now it's on other people. Like, he can't make utility for it, you know.
You're right, and I think he separated himself.
Yeah,
I think that's what he's doing. And
I think he was trying to future-proof Zen, you know, because the biggest, I see your hand, Plan D. I'll go to you in just a second. Like, the hardest thing that it's like, all right, so listing on KuCoin, that is a minimum because I work for KuCoin. I know one of the smallest packages it costs is $75,000. The thing with Zen, and that's what the project has to pay to list. KuCoin went and listed Zen themselves. MEXC went and listed Zen themselves. LBank, Bitmart, they all went and listed Zen themselves, because I bet you, I would not be, you know, that they had interns and then they ran their own version of coin tools to go mint Zen, because they saw the community building behind it. And so, because all tokens that came into existence came in the same way. Now, if you have a 20, like, you can mint, you can start your process at any time. So you can wait for Gwei to be low. Now, when you got to mint those tokens into existence, you have a 24-hour window to find the cheapest Gwei, so that you have the lowest penalty. You know, you don't get into any of the penalty phase. But it's, you know, they all sort of came into existence the same way. So I think that we should, you know, that's an economic force that people weren't ready for. They're like, because I've had exchanges. They're like, hey, how much tokens can the team, supply, from their marketing budget? I was like, oh, there was no marketing budget. There was no team allocation. They're like, wait, what? No, that's that's where the difference of that comes from. Plan D, you had your hand up. GM.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Well, how are you?
Good. Has Jack actually disappeared? Has he gone full Satoshi on us?
No, he's cool
though.
He's still around. He's still having fun.
Yeah.
One of the, I said this Sunday, in Simple Water Space. One of the smartest people I know, the founder of Moonbeam, Derek Yu, he had met Jack, a while before, and he was like, oh, he came off as sort of like a crypto anarchist. And I'm like, yep, that's Jack. He goes and stirs pots, him and Sun Tzu. I think Sun Tzu literally walked around Bitcoin Miami wearing a shirt said, I broke your chain. So, it's, I think he's in collection phase and building phase where you just waiting. You worry about, feature creep, and rely. And so many people want to have an opinion. Well, go, I remember there was a conversation like 2 months ago. People were really upset with what he was doing for some reason, like doing stuff on Bitcoin, because they didn't really see his roadmap, even though they've been talking about Bitcoin since January. And, in February, Sun Tzu literally had a whole mapping route done on that. And when we were, I got to meet him, meet both of them at ETH Denver this year and just sort of sit, listen, like this has been on the roadmap, and this has been talked about for a minute. So it wasn't like sort of out of the blue, but I think that, now there's at some point a creator has to step out of his own creation to let others create with it. And I think that's sort of what he's doing, but he's still sort of like trying to provide right now. He's trying to build X1 and build that right. So, yeah.
Yeah, Taco, I've got a question. Have you seen any other crypto where exchanges just listed them by themselves?
Pepe, Hex, a whole bunch of different shit tokens during the last bull run because they wanted to get into the meme coin cycles. And so they bought them on open market, or they provided, they created deposit onlys until they got it, and they provided incentives for people to come bring their the tokens on. Like MEXC, when MEXC first launched, they gave a 7% interest in USDT for you to bring your Zen on and stake it. Now, and then they moved, once they got enough people in, enough Zen in, then they were able, then they took that away. So there was enough Zen on market for people to trade. So this is when they have an analysts that go through this stuff deep. These are not small time moves. They're looking at how to make themselves the most money on trading fees.
So it's safe to assume, like every other crypto you're talking about, like Pepe and X, they only listed those who did like crazy hundreds of X's of gains, right?
No, not even that. movement. How much of a movement piece is this going to be? Because exchanges don't make money by you moving your crypto on and it just sitting there, because they're not moving it. If they're not FTX, your crypto is just sitting there. In Coinbase, your crypto is just sitting there. In MEXC, it's in the hot wallet, but it's just sitting there. They're not going and double spending it, and so they make their money by tokens trading, and they want what they see as, if you're not paying to play, providing a market maker that's providing trades back and forth, they want a community token. They want a token that there's community behind, that drives interest in innovate, that there's innovation on. So I think that I'm a little sad by it in a DeFi aspect, because it's not paper trading per se. The settlement is real, but the activity isn't done on chain. So we don't see that. So we don't see that in price action. And in a way, it sort of takes liquidity off of these chains, and makes it more accessible for people that might have a little bit of harder time, trading within contracts or trading by cutting and pasting in tokens. And so it's good, and it brings more exposure, but I think it's one of those things that the volume isn't necessarily seen on chain. You can go find it because there's APIs that KuCoin has, that MEXC has, that are pulled, so you can automatically see what that trading volume is. So yeah.
But it's gonna spill over the DeFi side as well.
It does, and that's just because people are like, well, I can't go and burn my Zen on MEXC, but I want to get into this X1, So I think it does spill over, because, but not necessarily in price discovery, so to speak. But yeah. Plan D, how have you been, man? It's been a moment.
Yeah. Been busy with work and whatnot. And just minting and accumulating Zen across all chains.
Yeah. It's man, I'm liking what we're seeing, especially going around. So yeah, I pulled up, I just pulled up CoinMarketCap, because they pull from marketplace CEXs, centralized exchanges like KuCoin. 24-hour volume, $219,000, versus Uniswap, 41,000, or for V2 pool, and 574,000 on V3 Uniswap. So, KuCoin had half the volume traded on, of what was traded on DeFi. So
that's Ethereum's problem. It shows that people want exposure to the token itself.
Mm-hmm.
People don't just want to pay the Ethereum gas fees.
Yes,
but actually, I'm actually buying a lot of Zen. It's pretty cheap across all the chains right now. It's like 10x and 30x down from all-time high.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's gonna break and surpass it by many x's next bull.
Yeah, I personally I put April 17th as Zen's all-time real high. Because the initial LP pool from Zen, when Zen launched, it was just we saw like someone put a bad. They just made a liquidity pool that just literally got drained because you know we didn't know where the price was going to land, and then the market sort of showed where it was going to be, you know. So
the forever down coin stage. Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for those people who put liquidity that early on.
yeah, it's one of those things where I think where if a bigger price range would have been put in play, but we just didn't know. And this is one of those things where you try something, you learn something, you do something new. Tommy, I see that hand.
What's up? Tucker, I just kind of want to hear like, if you got an opinion on this like ZenFi new DEX thing, and like with the VZen concept where it's like based on the dollar value.
Yeah.
Across all the chains, and yeah, I because like it's such a weird concept for me to like wrap my head around and stuff. Like, but yeah, I'm wondering if what your opinion on it is, because yeah, I love what you're doing with Stepler swap and everything. Like,
yeah,
you know a lot more than me. Let's put it like that.
I think what that is going to do is going to be really cool, because rather than you having to go to 5 different dexes, or well, 11 different dexes on 11 different chains, all of the price discovery is going to be on one page. Now, those LP pools are going to be on those chains. So you're going to have, just like when you're minting Zen and you change chains, it's going to change the chain in your wallet. Same thing will happen, but it will show you that price discovery right then and there. So you can burn, and what they're doing is really cool. They're showing that economic value of $30 of this chain will equal one amount of Zen, where $30 of Zen on a different chain is a different amount of Zen. But then you get $30 of that peg stable, which is I think it's VFX Zen, or yeah, VF Zen. And then you can burn your VF Zen, and I might have these token tickers backwards, so I apologize. I will get that. I will get the right information. But if you burn your VF Zen, you then get like, I think it's like VFX Zen. And what that then allows you to get is part of the trading fees, you know. So you burn your Zen for the true dollar amount. So you can, whether you have $30 on one chain or $30 on another, it will be different amounts of Zen. You end up with one token. And in a way, that is sort of pulling a little bit like what Jack wants to do with X1, where all chains sort of drip and, or, you know, like a waterfall, lean into X1. I think this is one of this out of the 5 projects that are coming up. This was one of the most interesting ones. Garbage Dump Zen and TG Zen are the other two, and got to have TG Zen on Sunday night, I think it was, and get a little bit of more of a lowdown on the breakdown of it. And I think that TG Zen might be a sleeper. I think that might be a sleeper project that, you know, has a lot of potential. Kid.
Yo, so yeah, since we're on the topic of all of these projects, and you got this technical knowledge and all of this stuff. What I've really been trying to do, and I finally got the gump to do it, but on Saturdays we're gonna be hosting these. I'm gonna call it the developers cut, but we want to get all of these devs in kind of one area, all of these Zen developers to come together, man. So we can just form and make Voltron, right? So, like TG's in, just kind of help them out, get the real narrative going. Because one thing that kind of sparked with me is Zensu helped Joe Blau so much in that last final development stage. He mentioned Zensu asked him, so why would I want another person to buy Phoenix or get into Phoenix, right? And that's when he kind of made the copy to the equity pool and everything. And he made the changes that really sparked me to just love Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I want, community members as yourself who are developing, people like Sirius and Block, to come together and ask the hard questions so we can, really wow the community and make these things just perfect. Because, just like you said, if Jack isn't going to do it, let's do this together, because the tools are here. Like, you do it, Joe Blau was just here, and, TG's in. These guys are currently doing it. And who's the guy behind the Zenify? I forget the strategy guy, but yeah, it's just insane. Zenify is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. There's some cool stuff going there. And, like I said, I know I've reached out to all 5 of these projects to sort of give them, space to Q&A and as they're building out white papers and stuff. I'm just some random dude on the internet, so, but it's really cool to see, like I said, garbage dump, I gotta go find myself a native crypto Chinese translator. I think I got a couple of those in my pocket. But
Try the Hex guys. I know the Hex guys got one. I gotta hit up Hex is the way. He might be able to help.
Yeah. I think Walrus might have one too. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of cool stuff, and this is I feel, this is my opinion, I feel that this is what Jack wanted. And this is where I think we've seen this allegorically happen in all of the different stories of history, or stories of creation, or stories of the promised land. Benevolent figure gives a promised land that has anything and everything you want on it. And then, then what happens is, someone wants too much, or someone wants all of it when there was enough for everyone. One person wants to control all of one thing. And then, then they get sent on their 40 years of, walking the desert to be able to get back to the promised land. And we are at a point to where we can allow that to happen. We can give that voice. Some people find it entertaining. I would rather watch the Maury show and Steve Wilco for my popcorn entertainment than my money as someone else's popcorn show. And it's really bad to say that way, but this is my money. And by me, if I have a worry about, and so by caring about my bag, I automatically care about everyone else's bag. But I think what a lot of people stop at, and well, not everyone, but a lot of people, I think that they forget that when they care about their bag, they also are caring about everyone else's bag. And so this is one of those hard things that you know, crypto sort of forces on us is, you know, if I want my bag to go up, yours is going to go up automatically. If I want your bag to go up, my bag is going to go up automatically. So, you know, yeah. Are you in the Plan D? I saw your hand, kid. Are you in the Zen Dev TG group?
Nah, I need to get in there, man.
All right, yeah. Ask Denny or Honey Deals. They can get you in there.
Got you.
Yeah. So, because that is a good conversations, good builders there. So, Plan D, hand.
Yeah, guys. Do you guys, any of you watch the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the TV show?
I did not hear that. I apologize.
Any of you guys watch the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the TV show? There was an episode. Yeah. You guys know it?
I know the show. I haven't watched too much of it.
Yeah, there was a garbage pail card. Is like the dumpster tab. Is it related to that card collection?
No, it is not. I think you're thinking of Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yep, Garbage Pail Kids. No, it is not. Awesome. It is not. So what they're their play on is, and I've seen this in a couple other ecosystems. Like I saw that there's the rats, and I met them in Paris, and there's so many. And then I've Rug Revenants as well. There's so many NFT projects that were out in the gaming world, and the games just didn't go anywhere. And so those NFTs sort of became, you know, worthless. So like Rug Revenants, what they did is they created a burn mechanism where you could burn your game assets from games that never came out and that are never coming out, and it would power up your Rug Revenants character. And so I think one of the things that they're doing with Garbage Dump is all of the different tokens that are coming out of the Zen ecosystem. Same thing, this waterfall effect where all things lead to one. So you can go take your Zen Doge, your Zen Pump, your, you know, anything, you know, your DB Zen, your Exelon, your Xenon, everything like that, and you can go burn it into one. Now, what they do with that, I haven't had a chance yet to get too deep into, but I feel that there might be some game mechanics tied to it, to where, you know, dumpster diving, who knows what you're going to get. You might find a gem.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was it. I was like, you might find a gem sometimes dumpster diving, but you still got to get dirty.
Yeah, I'm asking because if you've seen the profile picture of the dumpster, garbage dumpster, it looks like a pretty awesome NFT.
Yeah, you know. So, and you know, it could be a big burn furnace, you know, doing sort of what, you know, kid, what you were sort of talking about was, you know, a burn record of all of these other projects, you know, in a way. So, yeah. But no, that's sort of what's been going on. And everyone else is, you know, my spaces are respectful. So would love you to come up if you're able to give that respect to others. Be part of the conversation. So, but yeah, no. What else, kid, are you excited about coming up? Maybe in the Zen ecosystem, maybe somewhere else. What you know, what do you got on your mind? What are you doing in blockchain right now?
Man, Zen, man. Like everything else, like XRP, all those other communities. Oh, I guess Sologenic is pretty good right now. I got in on Solo really early, so since I got in on Solo, I got that Corium, the first EGB enterprise grade blockchain, whatever. So I guess that's pretty good.
Okay. Nice.
You hear about Corium?
I know of that. I'm not in it, and I don't have any info on it other than it was in one of the many newsletters I read each day, just to sort of stay current. You know, I get about 50 newsletters a day, and I'm able to get through about 20 of them to sort of get a feel of what's going on in the market. And then those things that actually interest me, I follow through in on and deeper dive in on. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I basically got a whole bunch for free because I hold XRP, and yeah, I guess that was pretty fun. But I guess JP Morgan Chase is trying to use it as they're trying to build on it or something like that. I don't know.
So yeah, JP Morgan has their own chain, privacy chain, Onyx, that they're building out, and they have 4 variations of Onyx because there's no clarity yet on which product that they can release yet. I was talking with one of the devs in like March, I think it was. And he's like, yeah, we have like 17 different things ready to go. And the reason, because we've had to make different variations of each one, depending on how regulations might turn out. So I think that, you know, a lot of these big guys are coming forward and waiting. I think BlackRock spot ETF their application was accepted this week or at the end of last week, and it, you know, doesn't mean that it's now it's under review. So you know, I'm sort of torn on that. You know, you have people on one side saying it's going to be the downfall, the doom of it all. Other people saying this is the best thing to happen to crypto since, you know, Bitcoin. I take it with I'm looking at it from both sides. I think it will make people less weary of it because, you know, the mainstream media narrative is that Bitcoin and crypto is scary and that it's what criminals use. And I'm like, actually, really, if you think about it, no criminal really wants to use crypto, you know, maybe privacy tokens, but they don't want to use Bitcoin. They don't want to use Ether because it's all traceable. And so, yeah, but by becoming it mainstream, I think that will take a lot of the stigma off of it. What I'm worried about is I'm sure since there will be a lot of eyes on it in the beginning, that everything will be on the up and up. I'm just worried about when it comes to the point to when the ETF is like, oh, we have more people wanting this than we actually have. Let's just go make a couple more to cover ourselves right now, and we'll get it back later, type of thing. And when that becomes the norm of like, oh, we have more people who want it than we actually have, and so that double spend feature that, you know, blockchain stops from happening, but seems to happen a lot, you know, in the banking industry. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, they're just gonna lie to the people, man. It's so sad, but yeah.
But so, all right, here's a question. 1 second, hold on. I think it's August 4th, or it might be August 3rd. The highest of stakes. You going, kid?
I was planning on going, but I don't want to pay Richard Hart no money, man. Seriously.
That money's not going to Richard Hart. You're paying him. You go buy the movie ticket.
Yeah, but
if you look at it this way, I don't think Richard Hart is getting any of that money. You know?
Yeah, but he is, because he got to pay for the movie to be in the theaters.
I don't think that wasn't him that paid that.
Okay. So I might go.
I might be wrong on that.
Sold out.
I might be wrong on that, but from what I understand, it was community members that covered everything. You know,
that's probably it.
And you know, because I think Hex really sort of set the stage of, oh, you want something, you pay for it and you go build it. I gave you a blank canvas to go do what you want with it, and we've seen how that's turned out. You know,
but I think it's trash how he kind of did it. But you know, so I got a couple questions for you. So, you know about Hex, right? Like, what do you know about Hex? Are you fluent in Hex, or you know?
I would say I know 10% of what I want to know. Yeah. So like the history of it, not on it. You know, I remember when Hex launched, you know, because it made waves, you know. I was working heavy for like 2 projects at that time. And I was like, I don't have time for another thing, you know. You know, I think when I was invited to PulseCon in Vegas last year, and that is where I went to it, and that's where I got to meet a lot of the projects in it, and got a hexacation, right? Is that am I just making up words there? I think I'm making up words there.
I don't know.
A hexacation, hex education, but really, what really interests me was Icosa and Hedron. So, I think all the other stuff that was sort of there, you know, was that was new tech that was just like, oh, okay, you're taking something that was, you know, pre-staked and then wrapping it, and then, all right, you're putting it through a chipper and destroying that, but giving something else as a you're moving stuff that wasn't moved, you know, and you're utilizing protocols in a different way than intended that doesn't break it, but still makes it liquid, so people can, you know, really bring some they can see how much that they're doing on it.
Right. So, like, with that being said, right? So Hex is like trustless yield, and
yep,
you know, people love it. But so you familiar with Big Payday, right?
Nope.
Okay, so Big Payday in Hex was, if you were staked for this certain event, right? Basically, you would get 30% more. You would get 30% of what you have staked, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember hearing about this. Yeah.
Right. So, it's one of the reasons why I'm so bullish on Phoenix is because you have these mini big paydays every 13 weeks, right? So the interesting thing is, like, with Hedron and Icosa and how they work, you like the people who have big payday stakes, those stakes will never be able to participate in Hedron and Icosa, right?
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about Phoenix is it has this everlasting game mechanic to where even when you build on top of it, it's the same game. You know, it's not like it really changed much, and it still has these fun mechanics. I would just look into more so like how Hex works and why people love it, like the T-shares, like the ratcheting system and shit. And I just love how Phoenix incorporates literally every aspect of Hex, and you keep the big payday, and there's no OA, so the community is the OA. If you want more tokens being distributed, then boom, burn more's in.
Yeah. No, I so this is where I had a lot of doubt. I think that when Hex was made, there was a lot to it that was made at the time that was sort of like in the box thinking, rather than that, the mechanics of staking or unstaking, that hindsight's 2020, and so I, like, looking at it, I was like, oh well, why didn't you just have like an automatic calculation piece being done that every day, it lets you, it does one calculation, and that anyone that unstakes, it's pulling from that one calculation, rather than having to do a calculation each time someone unstakes. So if like two people unstake, there's two different calculations are done, rather than one overall governing calculation that can be used as a reference point. There's some stuff in that I didn't like at first, and then I realized, I was like, wait, I'm looking at this from the future, when at the time I'm like, that sort of innovative in and of itself, having a contract doing a calculation piece for that. And so it was easy to sort of look at that from a doubt side piece. Obviously, the OA is one of those crazy things that you're like, wow, okay. And I guess it's one of those things to where someone smarter than me said, you don't necessarily have, whether you have faith in Richard Hart or you don't, you have to have faith in the OA. If you don't have faith in the OA, it's not for you. And I'm paraphrasing and butchering what they said there, but like that is how I take it. And I'm like, that's a good thing. Just like we have any faith in any project, it's, do you have faith in the overall project or don't you? And we've seen, I get from, conception to execution, Pulse Chain took a long time. I like when I sort of was learning, I was like, oh well, it's gonna at least wait for some of the different staking mechanics within ETH to push through for the merge to happen. And then thinking like, okay, cool. Well, Shanghai update needs to happen. And so I saw, I wasn't invested in it like a lot of people were and are. And so I was, a different category of anticipation, I guess. I was, day one, hours, minute, I think I was in Pulse. I was on Pulse Chain within 45 seconds of it going live, because someone had set up a YouTube site that had that blaring horn go off as soon as one of the RPC turned on for transactions. So basically, I was in the middle of having a conversation with someone when all of a sudden, I was doing inscriptions, I think, and so I think I said like boob or tits, and like just to get those words because someone would want those later on, and then all of a sudden this DEFCON 5 alarm went off, and I thought it was because like I said something wrong, and then I was told, oh no, that's Pulse. I was like, oh, let's go, and I thought that was really fun, and we got to see a lot of innovation from that, and I was sort of already pulled in through like Poor Pleb, and what Poor Pleb was building out before they even came out with 9-inch. So, but I think a lot of the ideas that Hex tries to encompass are pretty cool.
You know what's crazy? When I was in a Twitter space with a boatload of Hexicans, I was like, man, Richard is definitely waiting for Eve 2.0 to come out, and he's definitely waiting for all of these, things to be created on Eve before he forks it.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to rip me to shreds. And guess what? That's exactly what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Is he had to have waited. Like, it wouldn't make sense for his devs to try and work through the same thing that they're going through if all he has to do is wait for them to finish and then fork it. It just doesn't make sense. So, I had been fed up with waiting for Pulse Chain, so I was actually telling people to just give up on it coming out this year.
Yeah.
And then it ended up coming out this year, but I mean, I'm glad it is a fork of beef. I'm glad he had to pivot. And to tell you the truth, it's not really a pivot, because if he did do a fork of Binance Smart Chain, it would have been like ETH, but he really wanted the actual ETH itself. So he never really pivoted from his first vision is I'm gonna fork ETH. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that laid a lot of good, because one, like I've gotten so many people in the Pulse chain, just based off of, I was like, well, hey, if you had whatever you had on May 11th in your wallet, you have a copy of it, including, and this is something I messed up on, in those, on day one. And I'll talk on that in a second. But I was like, all those shit coins you've been collecting, you got a copy of. And what's really hilarious is to see, to talk to like all these Pepe maxis on ETH. And they're like, oh, I've been in it for so long. And I was like, oh, well, how much of it do you have in Pulse Chain? And they're like, oh, I don't have any. And I was like, oh, so you got on the bandwagon like a month late. You're not from the beginning, So, but it's sort of funny to see one of the things that could have been done on day one and day two before everything else was sort of turned on was fractionalizing NFTs. I wish I had done that, because they were looked at it as tokens. So I could have had one token or one NFT as a token and gone and like split it into like two. But I don't know. It's really cool to see what some of the NFT projects, that were fully launched. They're like, I'm like, you go do some burn mechanics on this chain. You already got a copy of them over there. So it will be really cool to see Power City fully come online, Mintra fully come online, and some of these other projects that are doing a lot of different mechanic pieces, I think will be cool.
Yeah, it's a bummer. They, I don't know. I guess everybody thought they would launch as soon as possible, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I know there's just an entire cool ecosystem out there that is building some really cool stuff. So I don't know. I think there's some really cool stuff building out there. Plan D, what else do you got going on, man?
I think I'm just trying to accumulate more Bitcoin, turning into some BTC Maxi right now.
Okay.
Looks like it might be up for what you could call a parabolic move.
Yeah. There's a lot of possibilities there, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I don't know. If there's no one else, want to thank everyone for joining us today. I'm going to do a quick recap, and then Kid, this is one of the first times I think you've been on stage at the end of the show, so you get to be part of the end of the show. want to thank everyone for joining TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode 334, broadcasting to 2 YouTube channels, LinkedIn, Twitch, Xenon, Twitter, and Telegram. And, we started this space off with Foster Protocol on Solana. They're launching out their pieces on how easy it is to create art and one-of-ones, because one-of-one art has really, non-PFP art has really started to take off, almost like how it has on like Tezos. And so it's supporting creators has really taken a big thing. Foster Protocol made a really amazing place to be able to go do that. If you guys have any Solana, you have any art you've made, go put it out there. It literally took, I missed a signature mark. So I had an error the first time I did it because I missed a signature. The second time I did it, 5 seconds, created an NFT and put it in my wallet. So, or I could then put it up for auction or list it for sale. So, give them a check out. Next up, we then jumped into what's been going on Zen. Covered a lot of the different protocols that are building already on Zen, as well as what's coming up. There's Tree City West gave a really good TLDR overview. And when he made it quick because there's not a lot of information out. But these projects are willing to talk with people. We talked about TG Zen, VF Zen, and Garbage Dump is sort of the ones on my radar of being really cool. Then we went back in time and we sort of talked Hex for a minute. And then we talked about Chain Bloat and the blank canvas that Zen is sort of bringing. So supporting the builders and what's coming up here. It sounds like Kid is also wanting to start up a space for, just the devs talks. And so, going to work to get him over in to the Zen Dev Telegram channel, I think they might already have a show already over there who knows how often, got to cover a lot of different stuff. Want to thank everyone for joining us today. One of the things that I'm going to try to finish putting out, because I got distracted in conversation, is I'm building out, for those that are joining us via video, current prices of Zen on each chain, what it costs to mint roughly. And so we can then figure out how many days it will take to get into profit in minting Zen right now, based on the snapshot I'm taking right now, just so people can sort of have that understanding. And so what we do know that, I remember when Zen first launched, it was 62 days, I think it was at first, or 31 days on each Zen and like 90 days on other chains. As we've seen, we've been around for almost a year. We're going to be coming up on a year soon. How much that has changed and where we're at on that. So, before we wrap this up, end this, Plan D, final thoughts and words of wisdom.
Just guys, nothing. Steve said everything. You guys, if you believe in something, just go ahead and do it. Stay away from the noise.
Yeah. Thank you. I think he might be having a little bit of a bad connection because he's dropping in and out. But Plan D, thank you so much for joining us up on stage today with both questions and answers. Kid, final thoughts and words of wisdom.
Yeah, exactly what Plan D was gonna say, man. If whatever you believe in, just do it. You said one-on-one art is blowing up on Tezos again?
No, now it's blowing up on Solana.
Wow, well, I got a lot of one-on-one art on Tezos, so I want to see what's going on over there on Solana. So thanks for putting me on. But yeah, just keep open mind. That's the word of wisdom, man.
Yep. Yeah. I think, if you have faith in something, have that's then bled over faith into the rest of the ecosystem. You don't want to sort of favor any one thing, because Jack has said, Sun Tzu has said from the very beginning, this is a proof of participation protocol, not becoming a maxi in any one thing. You'll be a maxi in one thing, but then you're sort of stripping the bones from everything else, and you might be missing out. So who knows? Have some fun. I think, blockchain has really brought that forward. And as always, I end with my words of wisdom and the best, worst knock joke on the face of the planet. My words of wisdom are always the same. A closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth. Meaning, if no one knows you're looking for opportunity cannot come a knocking. And if opportunity does come a knocking, and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. And so, always be grinding, always be asking questions, always be willing to risk, asking for something in any way, shape, or form. The worst answer you can get is no. And that is the same answer you're going to get if you don't ask. And kids, since you are up here, you get to be part of the greatest, worst joke on the face of the planet. And I end every episode this way, and it's done out of love. It's done out of honor for those that came before me and those that will come after me. And so for those that are new to it, this is how we end every episode. Are you ready for it, kid?
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Thank you.